We welcome you once again. This is the What It Takes Radio Company. We are connecting you with your audience and helping to bring your message alive. And once again, it's our privilege and pleasure to bring to you another episode of the E Stanley Jones podcast. Indeed, the man, the mission, and the messages, a program for you. And today, it was very special in church on Sunday as we celebrated Christ the King Sunday. And of course, that reminded me of E Stanley Jones. Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. This is Stan Houston once again, and thank you for joining me in the fourth edition, a very short edition episode of E Stanley Jones, the man, the mission, and the messages. And we are continuing to try and seek God's will and ways to make this outreach, this radio podcast program grow. And we hope that you will be helpful in that effort. The first program was an invitation, and that was also an invitation to episode 2 and 3. And already many of you have been extremely blessed and have shared your blessings, whereas we heard the story of one of the original of the 4 of E Stanley Jones, a man who worked with him as a young man and was a significant part of his ministry, Roberto Escamilla. That's right. And his stories and his teaching and his learning was just great. I would encourage you to go back and listen to those programs again. In fact, I had a mentor some years ago who said, Stan, if you ever hear a really good message, don't just listen to it and then, or maybe take a few notes. Listen to it 7 times, and then it will become part of you. Well, the heart of E. Stanley Jones and the man, the mission, and his messages certainly came through in the stories and in the testimony of Roberto. So I would encourage you to go back and make a point of listening to that program or listen to it again. Now, here we are in the Thanksgiving season, and this is just a brief little program to remind us of one thing as we move forward. I'm wearing a purple tie. This is the tie I wore to church this past Sunday because it's oftentimes thought of as kind of a royal color. It could be red, maybe gold, but certainly purple is a kind of a color of royalty. And last Sunday was Christ the King Sunday. And that is a special Sunday which many of us celebrate just prior to the beginning of the new church calendar in the Advent season. So it's kind of the final program in the past church year. And we are reminded that indeed Jesus is Lord, and we are called to surrender to him as Lord. And he is the King, and he has a kingdom. And he comes to us and invites us to join the kingdom, to serve in its mission, and to enjoy its benefits now and for all eternity. It is truly about kingdom living. And so we are reminded of that, and we are reminded that for Stanley Jones, that was a very significant part of his teaching. And so we dress in kingly purple. And thank you for remembering that. Now, what I would like to do very simply is tell you that we are going to continue our programs, and we're looking forward to perhaps your help in making these happen. One of the things I'm looking forward to is to remember that because Jesus is Lord, and if we surrender to him, he has charge over us, and he will seek to take care of us. And so we don't need to be afraid. And we're going to deal with a good portion of the teaching of E. Stanley Jones, because in many of his books, he deals with the fact that don't be afraid. Do not fear. It's mentioned over 800 times in Scripture. And so we want to learn, as E Stanley Jones was teaching us, not to be victimized and put in the hole of depression and illness, because we do not live in the victory of knowing that with Jesus we can overcome our fears, that we can truly fear less in a fearful world. So we're going to continue to do that. I'm also was fascinated because what I also discovered is that a very young man who has passed away of our generation is canonized, or is going to be canonized as a possible saint within the Catholic portfolio of saints. Now, all of us are saints, and I think everybody will, in the Christian tradition, knows that is a fundamental teaching. But of course, certain ones have been chosen by certain churches and ideas as there is a special category of saint that we can venerate and honor, and perhaps direct some of our thoughts, attention, and prayers to. And the more recent one is just a young man, and that caught me up to think, I wonder if E Stanley Jones would be considered one of those special saints. And you know what? I would believe that he probably does. Now, the Wesleyan and Methodist theology of which he came out of certainly does not put that kind of emphasis or that kind of idea forward, but there are certainly things about him that I would say not only how he ministered and how he messaged and how he missioned, but there was a way that he lived his life that he could truly be one of the saints, one of the saints. And perhaps it's something to think about, you know. And we'll take a few minutes to think about that as we move forward. I would ask you to please consider making a way. I'm asking people to reach out and find a way to help support this outreach and make it possible. And I'm looking for various organizations, colleges, Wesleyan colleges and universities, many of the churches of the Wesleyan and Methodist persuasion. I'm looking for individuals who say, this is somebody who influenced my life in fundamental ways, and I'd like to participate in the program, but I would certainly like the opportunity to be a sponsor of the program. And particularly, since this is a radio program, your sponsorship, we can certainly acknowledge that and let people know that you are a part of this work and outreach, and go from there. E. Stanley Jones was not only a man of mission, he was a man of the marketplace. He understood that he had to help people not only live well eternally, but they could live well now, that they could be excellent in the work they did. They could own and run good businesses. They could be men and women who made a difference even in their work, just like Jesus. Obviously, he must have been a world-class carpenter or technician or handyman, because that's how he supported himself. St. Paul was a man of mission and business who also found ways to support others. So I would be grateful if you would think about that. Please reach out to me at very simply Stan Hustad, StanHustad, Stan Hustad at gmail.com, and tell me how you would like to be a part of the program, and perhaps how you have something to add to the program, and how perhaps you could work out a way where you could help sponsor and make this program go and grow. Right now, I think I'm one of the few, maybe the only one right now, who is actually putting together a modern day right now program that is to try and attract people to the mission and the messages, and certainly to the man and his Lord. in the modern media today. And I want to glorify him. I do know that if we do this well, that long, long, long after we are gone, there will still be radio and television programs that people could watch and listen to. Even though the man has been past 50 years, that we can bring back his memory, his kind of the miracle of what he did, and make it for people right now and for a long time to come. So again, reach out to me at stanhusted@gmail.com, stanhusted@gmail.com. I would be grateful. Blessings to you. And as we celebrate the season of the coming of Jesus, not to just be with us, but truly to be one of us and to show us the way to live well today and forever by surrendering all. And then, of course, following him. Take care. Bye for now.